Also because the character I play is she's always been quite, like you said, like regal and stoic, and kind of she has a weight to her. So to be able to rip her out of that and then do this massive intergalactic hit, Rave, was brilliant. And yeah, those costumes by Michael Wilkinson, and it's a stunning piece of work, and it's a little joy to be a part of.
It must be.
Virgin Radio.
I'm so happy to meet. It feels like we've known each other a while, actually. Our guest today is a renowned actress who you'll know from appearing in the likes of The Dry and Tolkien, and most notably her work in the Star Wars cinematic universe, as they call it, as Mon Mothma. She's returned as this iconic character in Andor, back for a second season on Disney+. We'll talk all about all of this, but first, a warm welcome to the top of the tower to Genevieve O'Reilly.
Hello, I'm so thrilled to be here with you.
Well, likewise, because the clue is in the name, so clearly we're just O'Reilly.
Yeah,
so
come on.
So I was taking you up on this. Let's get down to business on this. As soon as you walked in, I said, look, I'm not buying this thing that the press are putting out there that you are Australian Irish. You are Irish, as far as I'm concerned, because you've a soft Irish tea, you've Irish freckles, and you have an Irish head. So that's the end of that.
That's right. It's definitely a potato head. There's no question. Whenever I go around the world, it's like, oh, you're Irish.
But you really have an Irish complexion.
Yes.
This is a compliment.
Not a lot of sun as a child, and no talent for tanning. So even though I did move to Australia, but I think the Irish just is in your blood. That's what it is. There's no getting away from it.
You were 10. Sorry, you were 10 when you were bundled off to Australia. Is that right?
Bundled off in a sack with the lovely parents and the sisters and brothers, and we went out there. And so many people always ask me, "How are you not Australian?" I say, "I can be Australian if you want me to be." But I think when you grow up, I wonder if this. When we spoke Irish in the home.
As in Oscailga or Irish English?
Oscailga.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, obviously
language.
English as well. But I went to an Irish-speaking school as a kid. And so I think when you grow up with that in the muscles, the voice always it's just there, right?
But how come there's no twang? I'm not hearing any Australian at all, and you must have
Well,
lived
if you
there
want me to have a twang, I can. I mean, I can sit here and do that if you want, but I mean, that's just awkward, right?
Yes. So are you acting now, talking to me in your Irish accent, or is that you?
No.
No, you're so good
I
at
can't
the
believe
Australian.
you
No.
did that. You.
Of all people.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so your natural accent is this lovely Irish
This
gloss.
is me.
Yeah, okay.
This is me.
Why did you move at the age of 10, or your folks? Was there a particular reason, or do you talk about that?
No. They just were looking for a bit of an adventure. They were very young parents, very young, lots of kids, and they were looking for a bit of adventure.
And opportunity in life.
Yeah, very much so. And they did. They leapt. They're very spirited, beautiful, brilliant people, and they took us all out there. And then I came back.
And then you came back. Because your career then, so now we've established the proper Irish thing. That's done now. And I was intrigued about your introduction to the Star Wars world, because you were kind of in again, out again. You were nearly there.
I'm the hokey pokey.
You
right?
are the hokey pokey.
I'm the hokey pokey of Star Wars.
There's a T-shirt.
Do you know, I went to, I think because we moved so little when I was a kid, moving was always just a part of me.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit itinerant, I think. Yeah. And so I went from Adelaide, where my parents moved to Sydney. And I went to drama school in Sydney. And so when I finished, they had this big Fox Studios that they were opening there, that they were filming loads of big American things. And they used to just populate the smaller roles with, I don't know, those of us who were around, right? Mm-hmm. And so they needed somebody, they were casting for somebody who looked a bit like the original actor who played it in the Return of the Jedi, who's Caroline Blakeston.
Blakeston, yes.
And, I really think the reason I got it was because I was the palest person in Sydney.
So we're back to we're going full circle here around the sun.
Yeah.
And nowhere near it.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, here's a pale looking person.
There's a
There's a similarity to the
Let's
1983.
put a wig on her head and there you go.
Yeah.
And and then it was cut from the film.
Yeah.
And I thought nothing of it, and then...
Did you know it was cut, or did you go to the film and go, I'll be any minute now? How did that work?
No, do you know what? They were so kind.
How did they
The producers
tell you?
rang me and wrote me a beautiful letter and said, listen, come here to me. You're great, but it's about your... Anakin, it's about that. And of course that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So
I love the manners of that they said to you, look.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the Anakin is taken over this thing now, so unfortunately you got squeezed.
I mean, it didn't take much to squeeze me out. It was just a wee bit.
Yeah, but still, it was significant to know. But the key to this story is it's about survival it's
Yeah.
about getting the ore in
Yeah.
because they saw you. They had you on file.
Yeah.
And soon enough, the door was knocked upon again.
And you know what their real generosity is? When they came to do Rogue One, the film, and that was 10 years later,
Yeah.
they could have cast anyone in that. You know, there are plenty of pale people in London.
Not as pale as you, though. I'm looking at you in the face, and
Yeah.
you know you're special pale.
Special pale.
You know what I mean?
I'm purple pale.
No, it's ceramic beauty. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
it's-
nice.
is
You
that
need to
nice?
get your prescription fixed, I think.
No, but yeah, I can see why they cast you.
Yeah.
But so that happened, and they called you again and said, by the way, you must have thought of this? That role is trashed to death now.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way I'm going back there.
I mean, I never thought of it again. And, you know, I was in London, living in London, and I was in the post office with my 2-year-old at
Yeah.
that time. You know, he was eating pens and picking his nose and God knows what he was doing.
Stabbing
and
himself.
I answered the phone, stabbing himself, stabbing other people. I answered the phone with, like, grabbing him from doing something while Star Wars rang and went, would you come back and do Rogue One? And I was like, what? And I thought someone was messing with me, and it was great.
And then Andor came along, which we're going to talk about in a second. But
Yeah.
for the meantime, it's nice and cool in here, isn't it?
Oh, it's lovely.
You happy with that?
I'm thrilled.
We'll get you a cup of coffee. Genevieve O'Reilly is our guest today, and we will talk to her further after this. Genevieve O'Reilly, our guest today. We're talking about Andor, which is streaming now on Disney Plus. New episodes every Wednesday. I loved your description of of a scene in Andor. Where you were talking about the costumes, which are beautiful, and because you're very regal and you wear them really well, and the scene was a disco scene or like a nightclub scene.
Yeah.
And you said the director, I don't want to give away the line. You said the director said, make it feel like it's.
I can't remember.
You said it was like Ibiza, so it was like.
Oh, yeah. It is.
And I thought, what an interesting collision of Star Wars and some girl in a cage.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
No, it was great also because the character I play is she's always been quite, like you said, like regal and stoic, and kind of she has a weight to her. So to be able to rip her out of that and then do this massive intergalactic hit.
Rave.
Like rave,
Yeah.
yeah, was brilliant. And yeah, those costumes by Michael Wilkinson, and it's a stunning piece of work, and it's a little joy to be a part of.
It must be nice to be part of a series as well, and not just because of the regularity of work. I don't mean to be cynical about it, but you often hear about series and people involved in series is that they get to really enjoy the workplace, especially if you've got a good crew around you. It becomes fun, like housemates.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. And we started this during, like, we started just before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 years it's taken us to do these two
You bonded
seasons.
a lot then.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like we became like a real little family. And everybody who did season one, like the production designer, our hair and makeup designer, Emma Scott, and our costume designer, Michael Wilkinson, everybody came back.
Yeah.
And so, and because we knew we only had one more season to do, like the ambition, the collective ambition of everybody was wild.
Yeah.
And it felt special.
So it's a band of brothers and sisters. And all.
Yeah.
You mentioned that like in a weird little family. All families are weird, and they just bring different levels of weirdness to it. So you mentioned your son who was stabbing people in the post office and doing himself. And you off air, as we're listening to music there, you mentioned your daughter who is a bookworm, which I
Yeah.
just think is the greatest gift of all time. And you were saying she's reading all these books they're all number 1 and 2 in the charts, by the way. All
Are
those
they?
romantic-y sort of books. Is
Yeah.
that- yeah, she's loving
Sarah
that.
J. Maas, Rebecca Yaros.
Yaros, yeah.
And this, I don't know who the author of this new one is, Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, as Zevon. Is it Catherine Zevon or something like that? Sorry, say it again. Gabrielle Zevon.
Oh, that's it.
Zevon.
Yeah, she just finished that.
That's a great old book too. So did that come from you, or just was she drawn naturally to the reading light?
She's really into story. So, and I used to sit with them when they were little. I bet you did this too, and read to them. Yeah. Like I would read to both of them, and then as I got older, I kind of read bigger and bigger books, and we would sit and read a few chapters a night, and it was just a really special time. And then it came time for her to go out on her own. And she found reading a bit difficult at the beginning. So she said to me, I remember one time she said to me, I said, listen, what can I do to make this easier for you? Yeah. What are you into? And she said, I want a female character, lead character with a funny sidekick.
Wow. So, let me just look this up.
Exactly. So I was nosing
Alexa.
it down. Exactly. So I found books that she liked, and then she just took off by herself.
That great. But you're a spirit guide to say, listen, nudge a little, because kids don't want to be told, you must read this. Just gently try
exactly.
that.
Find what they love and send them off.
And Genevieve, where do you have family in Australia still? You're living in London now, so so you've got family in where?
I know, I'm such a mongrel. I'm from all over the place.
Yeah, it's peripatetic existence. It's a lovely one.
Yes. So I have lots of family in Ireland, obviously, but my immediate family, like my mum and dad, my brothers and sisters, are all in Australia.
Because I was surprised you knew who I was when you walked in, and not to make it about me, but I'm just saying briefly that I presumed with all your Australian background from the age of 10, you wouldn't have kept in touch with the Irish.
Oh my gosh,
scene.
They still watch. Come here to me. They still watch the Late Late and everything over there. They get everything.
Do they?
Yeah, I mean they see and know everything.
So they left Ireland, but Ireland never left them.
Yeah, Ireland is deep within themselves.
And you here in London, do you keep that connection to well, we say home. It's home definitely Ireland for you.
Yeah, that's where we go home. I mean, both. I mean, everything is. It's weird. I am a bit of a mongrel. Like, there's no way around it.
You're hard on yourself.
Well, it depends who you're with, right? You're with the people you love, and that's home.
Yeah. I love that. Andor is currently running, but where else can we see it? I'd love to know what's coming down the tracks for you. And also, look at all this theatre here. Where
I know.
Is there talk of that? Or?
Well, I did loads of theatre, and I did some in between the two seasons.
But
I'm
in
about
the future?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm about to actually go to Australia to do a television piece, a project there now for the next couple of months.
That's nice. You'll get to catch up with
I get to see my family while I'm there, and and then who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But you're on the right track in the sense that you're constantly working, and you're not one of those sort of, who knows, it's just, maybe there'll be a check next week, but it's just going so well for you, which is just tremendous.
I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
So,
well, you
onwards.
Also, they're lucky to have you, and whatever you do, you're tremendous talent. I mean that. What a pleasure to meet you today.
So lovely to meet you.
Let's do it again.
I feel like I've known you forever, so to be here is just great.
You walked in, and we knew immediately after we hugged that we were going to be friends forever, and tell your daughter I think she's amazing for all that reading, which is great. And tell you, and hopefully your son will get on the same bus in due course. But in the meantime, Genevieve O'Reilly, superstar of Andor, season 2, streaming on Disney Plus. New episodes every Wednesday. This was not the last time we're going to meet.
Come on,
let's
get it in the diary.
See you, Slán for now.
Slán.
Virgin Radio.